You're welcome along to the Zoom room. It's day 2 of the Dublin Racing Festival with the one and only Davy Russell and Bill ESDAILE, and another brilliant car to get through. My nap of the 2 days runs actually in the first race, but we are going to start with the first Grade 1, and that is the Novice Chase at 120. Davy, if there were one horse you'd like to ride at this festival that isn't associated with your yard, would it be Galopin Des Champs, or am I mad to say I was as impressed as everyone else by his chase performance at Leopardstown on the last day?
Yeah, he seemed to be very, very good. He seemed to be very professional in the way he went about it. Even the way he went to the start, he was very relaxed. He jumped off in the race and pretty much he controlled it from there on in. He was a very good hurdler, as in he won at the festival and then he went back to win Grade 1 companies. So, there's very little chinks in his armour. I suppose the only one is that experience. If something is going to catch him out, it'll be experience. But he's been to the track. Distance should be fine, stepping up in grade and he's ran over the trip. So I don't see any chinks in his armour other than experience.
That's not to say, now we're actually recording this prior to declaration day, it's not to say the likes of Fury Road, who was very impressed for Christmas, and Run Wild Fred, who was second to him, are bad horses in their own right.
Oh no, Fury Road is a very, very good horse. He was just tipped off by Monkfish over hurdles, and he did delayed chasing career, but he's really taken well over fences, and he proved his well-being at Christmas time and his liking for the track as well. So, Fury Road is a very good horse. He's taken really well to fences. Run Wild Fred the same. There's not much between the two of them. Run Wild Fred made a very bad mistake, halfway through the race the last day, and I don't think he would have beat Fury Road, but he definitely would have been an awful closer. So there's, a jump or two between them two. But, it's a hell of a good race.
Yeah, and just Galopin Des Champs' performance, Bill, the last day, it's not like he was a bad hurdler. He was actually a very, very good hurdler, but there was just something breathtaking about it. As a bookmaker, this is a horse you kind of have to take on because it's hype. Everyone's talking about him. He'll never be a big prize for the foreseeable future in a race. But at the same time, if I go to Leopardstown on Sunday, which I'll be there, I just want to see this horse jump a fence.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think that Galopin Des Champs went off 100 to 1 at this meeting last year.
Unbelievable.
Went off 100 to 1 in a Grade 1, beaten with 6th or whatever he was. And then turned up, was devastatingly good at Cheltenham, was brilliant at Punchestown. And then he did something that David mentioned at Leopardstown that was just jaw-dropping. He just jumped so naturally. He jumped like a seasoned chaser that had done it loads of times, but with a serious gearbox. And he's obviously top draw. It's going to be very hard to beat them. I think I'm guessing that Fury Road will run here, not Run Wild Fred. Gordon came out in public and said Run Wild Fred might go straight to the festival. So it looks like it's probably Fury Road to take him on. But realistically, Master McShay, Fury Road, are they going to ruffle Galliard de Menil's feathers? I'm not so sure. I'd be interested to see what he does when he's put under pressure and horses jump alongside him. Davey mentioned about the experience catching him out. I think if they let him go out in front and give him a soft lead again, I think it might be one-way traffic. But he's going to be very short, but he's going to be very hard to beat.
I'm just not sure the way he raced the last year that taking him on would be anyway advisable either if you're hoping to pick up prize money or whatever. And I suppose that's the conundrum for jockeys. As a man, Davy Russell, I ask you this: are you a forgiving man?
Oh, very much so. Yeah, I'd have to, because I've made so many mistakes myself.
So on that note, is Chacun Pour Soi, you have to back this horse to Dublin Chase. He's one bad run in the Tingle Creek to get over. He was sore for 3 days reportedly afterwards. If he runs his race, he will win this. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, you're right. But at the same time, I suppose, look, just the way they speak of Grenadine, they speak so highly of him. So that he is definitely a contender. And when a horse starts to go in the direction that Chacun Pour Soi has gone this year, it's a big jump back up. Now, this isn't the strongest of renewals, but at the same time, there are some capable horses in it. So if he is on a downward spiral, it's not ideal that, at top level, that he can jump back up to where he needs to be, because he will need to be, near enough to where he was before to be winning this race,
Grenadine was absolutely friendless in the betting for the Tingle Creek, and Chacun Pour Soi was backed off the boards and was one of those races, Bill, that just it went completely arseways in terms of the market. Do you believe that performance, or do you just say, listen, the favourite wins this if he turns up?
Yeah, I mean, he was very good at Sandown, and he was less good behind Shishkin at Kempton, but whether that run came a bit, I don't know, a bit too soon, and the ground will definitely be in his favour. I mean, you mentioned about Chacun Pour Soi and whether you can forgive him. Form figures of 1-1, 1-3, 1-5. Take out the travels, and it's all ones. It's the trips to England that seem to be catching him out. So I'm not sure we'll see him on these shores again. I'd forgive him that run. He just wasn't right, and I think he'll bounce back. I think he's going to be really hard to beat, and you know he's still rated 176. You know, he's a phenomenal horse in his own right. And I think everyone's going to be up against it to lower his colours. I think he'll win.
The third grade one is probably not a great time to mention the pipped offer. If you're beaten half length or less in the second, you get your money back in the ITV races. These are 3 races essentially with quite hot favourites. And the hottest of them all is Honeysuckle, Bill. I'm not a sentimentalist at all when it comes to racing, or at least I'm not as time goes on, but I would genuinely not like this horse to suffer defeat because of her reputation, the way she's done it, her record, what herself and Richard Blackmore have done for racing. And if she is beaten in this race, I'd be absolutely astonished. We'll get Davy's views and Zana here in a moment, but she obviously wins, Bill.
Yeah, potentially.
Potentially, she's 3s on.
Yeah, I just don't forget that Stable's not in terrific form.
There is that. Every time I oppose Henry, he wins. Every time I back him at the moment, they flop.
If she's ever going to have her colours lower, it would be here. Don't know whether Appreciate's going to turn up, but you know he was phenomenal here at this meeting last year. So it's a different test for her, and it's probably the right time to take her on. And you know when Golden 60 was beaten at 1-100 in Hong Kong the other day, it shows you that they're just animals and any horse can get beaten. So yes, she should win. But you'd like to see the stable in better form, and she's taking on a new one and Appreciate It. So it does open. It makes the race more interesting. She's obviously phenomenal. She's, you know, if she returns to the form she was in when she won here last year, she'll be very hard to beat. But I certainly wouldn't be in a hurry to take 3s on. And I think, Appreciate It, Samwar and Zana here, we'll hear about in a second. I think they'll all be there to pick up any pieces if she's not on their A game.
And it's a strange quirk of the way the weight system is, Davy, that Zana here, who up until a month ago was a 4-year-old, he's only 5 now, has to give £7 to Honeysuckle and try to beat her.
Yeah, that's the way it is. He was unable to take advantage of it before January. So it's now after January, and that's when their birthday changes. Honeysuckle gets the 7 because she's a mare and she's entitled to it, and I think it makes a huge difference to the greater scheme of racing in general when fillies come into the Grade 1 equation. Every time you look at Honeysuckle, you think she can't win another one, and she does, and she's top peak. She's a hell of a good mare. Rachel has the key to her, and she will win. It'll be a tougher test. There'll be loads of people, there'll be loads of horses there, nipping at her tail. If Appreciated comes, like Heaven Help Us can make the running. San Roy made the running for a spell the last day. Honeysuckle can make the running, and Appreciated can make the running. Zani here will be ridden handy. It'll be a true test now. It's a good renewal.
Yeah, if Appreciated turns up, and obviously he was originally supposed to be a novice chaser this year, and imagine if you were now with Fernie Hollow out, but if he does turn up, it won't be a cakewalk at all. On to the next Grade 1, staying with you, Davy. Sir Gerhard is a horse I have to say I like a lot. There is potential that he might step up in trip. Obviously, ex-Gordon Elliott, you know a bit about him. I love the way he jumped at Leopardstown at Christmas. It was only a maiden hurdle, but for me, he'll be very hard to beat. That's 3:35.
Yeah, you're right. Everything you said, he jumped really well, quick and accurate, and there didn't seem to be any flaws in that side of it. Again, it's a good race. We're not quite sure what will turn up. Hopefully, the likes of Three Stripes Life, Mighty Potter, your other horses, the likes of White House Cross, who won his maiden and Leopardstown, was, good too. Gatsby Grey was good down in Limerick on very testing conditions. And then you have the other William Mullins horses. You have Colin Mustard, who's got loads of experience. He's a second season novice. So, you know, my mate Mozzie, who does have a tendency to go a little bit to his right, but interesting enough, Gavin Cromwell said that he holds an entry in the champion hurdle.
He did.
He must be showing him plenty at home and he has loads of experience. Couple of little niggly things in Fairhouse. If they went different ways, he could have had a different result. So I wouldn't be just writing him off now that easy. So it's a hell of a good race.
So Gerhard, I imagine they think he's definitely better than Statuaire, in which case he's better than my mate Mozzie, more or less. So he should beat them too. He beats Three Strike Life comfortably, obviously, at Cheltenham. But at the same time, Davey, you might end up riding him. Is he a horse that he's just getting a bit better with the hurdling experience?
Yeah, you know, I suppose he wasn't ideal. He missed a couple of engagements just because of the weather. So he's had his run in Grade 1 company and equipped himself really well. He'll need to improve. He's in fine fettle at home. He's just an unassuming horse. He's very relaxed in his ways, and you just don't think he's much good until you just switch on the engine and he shows us plenty. But, you know, again, he'll have to keep improving. I
think his dad, Leading Light, was a bit like that. What do you make of it, Bill?
Yeah, I think Davey's got a chance here with Three Stripe Life. I mean, Sir Gerhard's obviously the one they've all got to beat on all known form, but I was really impressed with his run behind Mighty Potter. I thought he did loads wrong and still got very close. And the more kind of Davey asked him, he responded to every urging, and he could have easily finished out the back of the telly that day because he made a mistake at the wrong time, and he ran all the way, came round horses and ran all the way to the line, and he was closing on Mighty Potter. I thought that was a hell of a good run, and that was his first dip into Grade 1 company. I think he'll take a step forward. I think he's a big player. I think Sir Gerhard and Three Stripe are the two to concentrate on. One I would mention, I mean, the beauty of kind of Trials Day and the Dublin Racing Festival as a whole entity is that you get these unexposed types, and you get horses enter the frame that are pretty left field. And there's one of Willie Mullins there, that Hortanzu Dairy, who was far too keen over 2.5. That's obviously got an engine, and they're dropping him back to 2 miles. Around 40, it's about a 40 to 1 shot. Complete outside. I don't even know he's going to run, but he showed enough that day. He's still got an entry in the Supreme. I just thought he could run really well at a big price, maybe to pick up a place, not to necessarily win. But I thought, you know, Sir Gerhard, Three Stripe, and Hortanzu Dairy in a combination forecast. There you go.
Yeah, and you mentioned the form of that race actually hasn't worked out with the Bromhead horse Secret She Keeps Bombing next time. As you mentioned, that could be yard form. How you bode the winner, owned by Charlie Carter, the famous hurler, has been sold since, is a well-regarded horse. So I can see where you're coming from there. We'll get the opinion of the lads on the rest of the card as well. I just want to give a mention to my bet of the day, Finest Evermore, in the first race. That's a race that honours Paddy Mullins for the last 4 years. So I think this is the 5th year since Paddy was honoured in the race title. You'd imagine his son would be very keen to win it. He hasn't actually won it, I think, in 10 years. It was his only entry, and she did a brilliant comeback run the last day in a proper race. Probably top weight here with Heaven Help Us, who won the race last year, not taking her chance this time. Davey, what do you make of the rest of the card?
Oh yeah, it's between start to finish. It's fantastic. Go back as far as the fillies, the last race on the card, the fillies bumper, like it's just packed with talent, intrigue. I don't, you know, come Saturday and Sunday, Willie Mullins will probably more than likely dominate it. But at the same time, sitting here today, he's got a lot of competition.
Bill.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch. Who was your selection in that first race?
My selection in the first race was Finest Evermore.
Finest Evermore. Well, I thought there was one of Davies was interesting. Party Central. If she,
but the fact that he hasn't mentioned it is a massive plus. Knowing Davy Russell as well.
Yeah, I thought Party Central would be very hard to beat in that race if it runs, but I don't know if it runs or not. But she's
talk to me, Davy.
She's only got 10.7. She's probably beyond my
She won't be yours. She won't be yours, Davy. Although the weights will go up 3. The weights will go up 3 because Heaven Help Us won't run.
Yeah, they may. If that happens, I will be able to do a 10-10 on her, and
is she worth doing 10-10 on?
He's struggling for words here, Bill. This is a sign. This is a sign.
She is. Maybe her jumping, if she didn't run the last day, I would question her running in a handicap, but she jumped so slick and fast the last day. She didn't exactly get to the line with a load of vigor at the last. She need to be better than she was the last day to win this. It looks very, very competitive. A lot of dangers in there, but she's in good form. She's in great form.
You've won this race before as well. I remember you winning this with a good ride.
Yeah, 2 years ago, I won it on Black Tears, who was a good filly as well. And Heaven Help Us won it last year. It was another very good filly. So
yeah,
wouldn't exactly put you off, Bill.
No, I thought Party Central would be very interesting if she turned up here.
Beautiful. That was the last renewal of the Zoom Room over the 2 days. Thanks a million to Davy and Bill. Just a final word, Davy. I thought you were absolutely mad to come out of the injury that you had, and everything has been going swimmingly for you since.
Yeah, touch wood now. It's going great. I had a bit of a setback there during the week. I just got a little bit of a knock, but nothing to hold me up for too long.
You can't keep a good man down, and he's getting stronger with age, it would seem, Bill.
Yeah. Was the little bit of knock from Adele or not?
He's again, Davy, he always leaves you kind of wanting more. He leaves more questions than answers in many cases. That's why we love him, and that's why we love seeing back riding at the Dublin Racing Festival. Brilliant rides over the 2 days for Davy. Brilliant racing over the 2 days as well. Remember our pipped offer and check out the website for all the offers over the 2 days. That was the Zoom Room.